Good morning. Let's do another 5 A Course in Miracles review lessons, shall we? Because these are all hand in hand with everything having to do with manifestation and improvement of self-concept and all of that. It's another dimension. It's a dimension a step beyond, let's say, where maybe a few steps beyond where most people are currently operating mentally. So, it's good to just hear this stuff. A Course in Miracles is really interesting, and it's very dense and uses a lot of language that probably won't appeal to a lot of people. So I think you have to, in order to find it and start really going into it, I think you have to be seeking a way out of all this nonsense. So there's a good chance that most people, since most people I think stay pretty focused and in the world, there's a good chance you might never run across any of this stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this. ACIM review lessons 41 through 45, and the previous 40 review lessons in segments of 5 are in the description below. The videos that I made for them are in the description below. 41. God goes with me wherever I go. How can I be alone when God always goes with me? How can I be doubtful and unsure of myself when perfect certainty abides in Him? How can I be disturbed by anything when He rests in me in absolute peace? How can I suffer when love and joy surround me through Him? Let me not cherish illusions about myself. I am perfect because God goes with me wherever I go. 42. God is my strength. Vision is His gift. Let me not look to my own eyes to see today. Let me be willing to exchange my pitiful illusion of seeing for the vision that is given by God. Christ's vision is His gift, and He has given it to me. Let me call upon this gift today so that this day may help me to understand eternity. And I, as a former churchgoer for a very brief period of time as a kid, because I was forced, anything that talks about Christ, including stuff in Neville Goddard's literature, I can't help it. No matter what I do, there's a little part of me that's like, nope. So, if you're like me in that way, or a much bigger way, to that degree, or a much bigger degree, just try to understand what Christ's vision is. It's basically correct seeing. It's seeing through love, peace, all that stuff. That's all it really means. 43. God is my source. I cannot see apart from Him. I can see what God wants me to see. I cannot see anything else. Beyond His will lie only illusions. It is these I choose when I think I can see apart from Him. It is these I choose when I try to see through the body's eyes. Yet the vision of Christ has been given me to replace them. It is through this vision that I choose to see. 44. God is the light in which I see. I cannot see in darkness. God is the only light. Therefore, if I am to see, it must be through Him. I have tried to define what seeing is, and I have been wrong. Now it is given me to understand that God is the light in which I see. Let me welcome vision and the happy world it will show me. 45. God is the mind with which I think. I have no thoughts I do not share with God. I have no thoughts apart from Him, because I have no mind apart from His. As part of His mind, my thoughts are His, and His thoughts are mine. I feel like I'm getting very repetitive with everything here, especially this year so far, because I feel like so much of this has been the stuff on this channel has been about this, but everything is about seeing clearly. Everything that's wrong in your life is due to faulty perception. Whether you're actually you're seeing your actual reality, and I'm talking from a normie standpoint here. Whether you're looking at you're seeing your life as being bad because you're seeing it incorrectly, and it's actually very good, and you're just like sort of focusing on all the negative things and missing all the positive things, or if you're not seeing clearly because you feel stuck and there's a way ahead for you that you simply can't see because of some misperception, some misbelief. This has been my theory forever about why manifestation seems to work and work so quickly. or a combination of the both, whether it's any of those things, like it all comes back to the same central thing, which is you're not seeing clearly. You have the wrong idea about yourself, other people, the world, what you want. There are desires that are sort of, somebody asked me in the comments, like, how do you discern between these two? There are desires that are right, and there are desires that are wrong, to put it in the most, in the simplest terms. Like, there are things that you don't really want, but you still feel compelled to try to achieve or change or whatever. And then there are things you actually want. And I think that's where you're sort of tapping into God's will. And in this case, again, like with the Christian terminology, everything tends for me to immediately first go through that original, like, Lutheran church filter. So it's like God's will, like God has a plan, and whatever, and God's this guy that's like hanging out somewhere. But God's will, you could think of it as nature's will, or sort of like an unfolding of something. Just, there are a lot of different ways to look at what that means, what that could mean, because nobody knows, you know what I mean? Like, anybody who's telling you they know, they are selling you something, whether they're selling you something for money or they're trying to get you to believe something for some other reason. Nobody really knows. But the concept of God's will, God is in everything. God is everything. We could think of it that way. That's a possibility. And what that means is essentially that for you to be aligned with that will, it is sort of like taking yourself out of the equation and becoming the grass that doesn't try to grow, it just grows. Or, that type of idea. Did that make any sense? Thinking of yourself as your desires aligning with God's will. If you think of it as God has like a master plan for this whole thing, and then you just need to be his pawn. I don't know. That personally doesn't appeal to me. That personally reminds me of my distasteful sort of experience of childhood religion exposure. So I don't know, if you're like me, then I don't know, maybe you can recognize, I think a lot of like the problem with moving forward through a bunch of obstacles is that you just get kind of like a negative turned off feeling to certain ideas. Maybe you don't even know why. And I think often it can be something as small as, I don't like the phrase God's will, or I don't like the idea of, I'm still thinking of God as a guy out there, and I just don't really believe that, all those things can just sort of, I think, turn you off. And then you go, oh, I think I'll go watch like the news now. And then, that's like the beginning of the end for a while. So, did that help anybody? I really don't know. But all of it, again, like scrolling through these lessons, it's just, again, all about right vision, which, I've said this in other videos, but I'll repeat it just in case it's like the first time somebody's ever listening to this. Like, asking for a shift in perception about a situation produces a result, and sometimes it's nearly imperceptible. You just kind of start to feel different about something, or you have an errant thought that works its way in there into whatever your thought process is about the situation in question, and that thought shifts you a little bit, and you go, oh, I'm not looking, I didn't think to look at it from this person's perspective. And I realized they may have had, this motivation that I didn't think of. And that relieves me, because now I kind of understand, and this whole situation feels better. Like, that's a generic example of how your vision can get corrected. And that's an example essentially of forgiveness. In A Course in Miracles terms, forgiveness is you're not seeing a difference between you and someone else, and also understanding that this whole thing is essentially an illusion. For all intents and purposes, this whole experience is an illusion. And the things that you think happened didn't even really happen in that way, if that makes sense. your perception of the past and things like that are so heavily skewed, and you know that basically this doesn't amount to anything more than an illusion. I hope that made any sense. The whole base idea behind these 4 lessons is that the only thing that is real is the vision that you have, that you share with God. So basically the correct perception is the only thing that's real, and everything else doesn't have any value. You're looking on a world of illusions, and you're never alone. Basically everything that's causing you pain is an illusion, and you can start to escape it by seeing through God's eyes. And the way you do that is by simply asking for that to be given to you, and you will get it every single time. No exceptions. So I hope that helps somebody. I hope my perspective could be of any kind of assistance here and didn't confuse matters more. But anyway, that's it. Have a great day.